Welcome again to this broadcast. Over the past few discussions, we focused on the marriage relationship. We know that for the Christian and for the society in general, having a very good marriage and well established family is very, very important. God instituted marriage and made it so that the man and the woman will have a very good relationship that both would enjoy. And so today we're going to look again at why is it that people start out so well? They're in love with each other. They enjoy the company of each other, get married, they are very excited, and suddenly it's like the light went out. They start quarreling, they start disliking each other, and the next you know they're separated or they get into divorce. The reason why we're having all this is to prevent that, for us to get into what God really designed marriage to be. Every one of us, whether you're married now or you're yet to be married, has had an idea or a dream of what his or her spouse should be like. For the men, it's typically, oh, I want a woman that it's so beautiful. I want to show her off to my friends, or if they're dating a girl, they are so excited all the time. They want their friends to meet her. Why? Because he's very proud of her, likes the way she dresses, the way she talks, everything about her. He's very, very excited about it. And the same for the girls. They want this man that is handsome, that provides, that she's so in love with. When she receives a letter from him, not only her reads it, but her friends read them with every word. You look at it and what he means, and it's a time that people say they are in love and they are really in. There's a lot of emotion. Nobody could talk you out of marrying him or marrying her. And then the marriage starts with a wedding ceremony, elaborate. The both families and friends, everybody comes to witness this new relationship. Then starts the marriage. And then things begin to change. The man begins to notice things he didn't see previously, the same with the woman. And that passion begins to disappear. The initial passion they had for each other, things begin to fade. And what we're looking at today is those things that will kill your passion, those things that should not be done. We're going to get to things that should be done to keep the passion. But we're going to start first with what shouldn't be done. Let's look at Malachi chapter 2 to give us a basis or a background on the biblical underpinning of how we should treat our spouses. This is going to be talking about wives, but the same, the reverse is also true for wives, the way they should treat their husbands. So a background of this is the children of Israel. God is not happy with them, the way they have been functioning, the way they have been treating or managing their families. And some of them are wondering, what's going on with us? It's like God is no longer with us. Look at what Malachi says in chapter 2, verse 13 to 16. And I'm going to be reading the message version. And here is a second offense. He had talked about the first offense that the children of Israel were committing. And here is the second one. He says, you fill the place of worship with your whining and sneveling because you don't get what you want from God. Do you know why? Simple. Because God was there as a witness when you spoke your marriage vows to your young bride. And now you've broken those vows, broken the faith bound with your vowed companion, your covenant wife. God, not you, made marriage. His spirit inhabits even the smallest details of marriage. And what does he want from marriage? Children of God. That's what. So God, the spirit of marriage within you. Don't cheat on your spouse. I hate divorce, says the God of Israel. God of the angel army says, I hate the violent dismembering of the one flesh of marriage. So watch yourselves. Don't let your guard down. Don't cheat. This that I've just read will be the background on what we're discussing from now. So why does the passion fade? One of the things that happens after the wedding is that people begin to discount the little things. Remember when you were courting, when he wrote you, you read every detail. You spent time with him. You called him a special name. You called her a special name. You helped without being asked. You see her car dirty, you went out there and washed it. You see his things not put right, you come to his house, you put things in order, you cleaned his kitchen, you cooked, you did that, and you did so many things you never were asked. And what has happened now that you're married? You don't care anymore, or you care a little. You may come to the house and things are everywhere, and you, the husband, you just pass by. You're waiting for your wife to do that, or the same thing for the wife. The little things are discounted. You used to give gift unexpectedly. You buy cards and you wrote how you felt. Now, all those things are no longer there. Do you know how your spouse wants love to be expressed to him or her? Someone wrote about that and called it the languages of love. There are people you need to find out what is more important to your wife or to your husband. It may be that what's more important to him or her is words of affirmation. So if your wife or husband likes that when they've done something, you affirm them. So, oh, honey, that's great. You did that so well. I like the way you treat our children. I like the way you cook. You cook so well. Or you write so well. Or you talk so well. You affirm. It may be more important to her than you're going to buy a car. Some people, it's the gifting that is more important to them. Some it's acts of service. Some is the physical touch. Some is spending quality time with them. Have you found the love language of your spouse, your husband? What's more important to him? Is it more important to him that you just sit with him and gist and talk with him? The same for the wife. Is it more important to her that you go out and wash the car or help clean the house? These little things are very, very important. So do not discount the little things. They are important. Very, very important. The other thing that can kill the passion is the way you dress, the way you appear, the way you take care of yourself. Personal hygiene. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, said, cleanliness is next to godliness. It's important that we take care of how we look. Now, when we were courting, you never went to see your husband or your spouse, not your spouse at the time, your fiance or your fiancée, without brushing your teeth. You made sure that you smelled good. You made sure that you were at your best. You looked in the mirror. Made sure that everything was in the right place. That's what you did. Both of you, you looked your best. But now, what do? You don't take the same time to take care of how you look, how you smell, how you dress, how you present yourself to your spouse. Remember this. When we go out of our house, we see people in their best. The people already dressed up, well made up, and smelling good. When we get out of our house. So we should do the same thing for our spouse. Even though we live in the same house, make sure that you look good. Make sure that you dress well. Make sure that you smell well. It's important. These are things that you did when you were courting. Don't take each other for granted. Personal hygiene is very, very important. Those are things that if we don't take care of, if we say it doesn't matter, after I'm married to him, I'm married to her, you should understand. No, you shouldn't understand. Do what you are supposed to do. Take good care of yourself. Make sure that you have good hygiene, both the man and the woman. It's not, I go out to exercise and then I'm smelly and I just come in and I'm hugging my wife. Come on now. I don't think she would like that. Make sure that personal hygiene is very, very good. The other thing that can be a passion killer is that there is no physical touch anymore, or very, very minimal. When you were courting, what did you do? Whenever you see her, maybe you held her hand or you gave her a peck on the cheek, or you always expressed your love. But now we're in the same house. When you sit together, one person will sit at one end of the couch. The other person sits on the other end. When you see newly married people, how do you notice them? They are always maybe holding hands or sitting together. When they're talking to each other, they look each other in the face and intently and intentionally. You can see that passion. It's supposed to continue. It is not when we are married, we leave. Those things that brought us together, those things that kept us with each other, very important that we continue to do them. Because if we don't, what's going to happen? We'll start going the other direction of the passion just leaking out of our relationships. How about time? How much time are you devoting to spend with your spouse? Yes, when you now marry, there are so many things that will get in the way: work, children, other relationships. Yeah, but you must make out time. You must make out time to spend with your spouse. No matter how busy, no matter how many children, we can get help and just step away with your wife. Take a walk so that both of you can just talk between yourselves and laugh and have discussions. One of the things that you did while you were courting was a lot of laughter, a lot of talking, a lot of communication. If all that you're doing today that you're married is, oh, you discuss about the children, you discuss about work, and it should be more than that. There should be a time, a relaxing time. Watch movie together. Watch a television program that either of you like or something that both of you enjoy. Let there be a playfulness. Let there be laughter. Let there be good communication in the house. If this is absent, it is a killer. Now, one of the things that today with technology is telephone. You can spend a lot of time on the social media with virtual friends and not enough time with your spouse. You're spending a lot of time on Instagram, on FaceTime, on Facebook, or whatever social media you are. Look at, is that the right thing to do? Are you spending the time you're supposed to be with your spouse with virtual friends? That's not the relationship you should be building. The relationship you should be building is the relationship between you and your spouse. If your spouse cannot look at your phone, cannot look or you allow him or her to see who you are talking with, it is a passion killer. It really builds a mistrust. If I cannot allow my wife, if my wife cannot look at my phone, what am I hiding? What relationships do I have? What secret do I have in my phone that she shouldn't see? So, husbands, wives, ask yourself, what is it that I'm watching on my phone that I don't want my spouse to see? Who am I talking to that I don't want my spouse to see? Am I watching things that I shouldn't watch? Today, with technology, there is a lot of content that shouldn't be out there, but they are out there, and you should not expose yourself to pornography in any shape or form. You should not expose yourself to relationships with people that you shouldn't have. That's why accountability is important. That's why your spouse should have access to your phone. That keeps you in check. That makes it that you know you should not have any such content or relationships that are unhealthy. Fill your mind and your time with honorable things. The scripture says, whatsoever is just, whatsoever is true, whatever is of good report, think on these things. So those are things we should fill our minds and our time with. We should not build any relationship with the opposite sex that is unhealthy. That's why I talked about your phone, that your phone should be open to your spouse. You should not be the counselor for a woman if you're a man, or for a man if you're a woman. You shouldn't have somebody who, whenever they have problem, you're the one they're coming to. Don't build those kind of relationships. You may not have in mind to do anything wrong, but without knowing it, you're constantly speaking to this person and you start building a relationship and emotional dependency that shouldn't be there. It's very important that you look at, how did I start my marriage? It was very good. I loved this woman. I loved this man. I couldn't wait to have him or her. And now we are married and things are going south. You've not made a mistake. It is that there are things, some of these things that I have highlighted here, that are being done that shouldn't be done. And there are things that are leaking, removing things, removing the passion that you should have. I had talked about the love bank or love account, how we need to be depositing daily by good acts of love, finding out the love language of your spouse and speaking it. So, if the love language of my wife is to constantly affirm her, I should make that a point of duty that daily I affirm her. I say, honey, oh, the way you cooked, I enjoyed that food. You say something daily that will affirm her. In the coming broadcast, I'm going to be looking at what are the things then that I should be doing, that you should be doing to keep the passion of love in your marriage, to make it that it is even better than when you started courting. Again, marriage is very, very important. You see what the passage we read, what God said. He said, I hate divorce. God doesn't want us to end up in divorce or in separation. Why? Because that's not how he made it. He said, I was a witness when you spoke your marriage vow to your young bride. And he said, I don't want that vow to be broken. I don't want you to cheat. I don't want you to live in a way that is not honorable. So God wants our marriages to begin and continue to have love and passion in it so that God and God alone will be glorified through our marriage. Thank you for listening today.